This is Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination and Fortune Telling, The Magi Method. You can find the book worldwide on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback versions. You can find the full color card deck used here on Etsy/Magi Method. You can join us on Facebook. This morning we want to talk about Avicii, Tom Bergling. Tom Bergling died at 28 in Muscat, Oman on April 20th. He retired 2 years ago he's one of the top DJs in the whole world, one of the highest paid DJs in the whole world. He won 2 MTV Music Awards, 1 Billboard Music Award, 2 Grammy nominations. He was coming out with a new album he announced a new album in 2017. 2 years ago, at 26, he retired and took a break from touring. He cited stress, anxiety, and illness. He had acute pancreatitis at age 21 because he was very heavily drinking, and they removed his appendix and his gallbladder. And he very famously stated right before this happened, he said, "I have told them this. I won't be able to play anymore. I've said, I'm gonna die. I've said it so many times. And so I don't want to hear that I should entertain the thought of doing another gig." So he basically joins a lot of famous recent celebrity deaths. Anthony Bourdain, Robin Williams, Heath Ledger, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Do you remember him? He was in the talented Mr. Ripley. Love him. I can't believe it. Another drug overdose. He's almost part of this 27 Club. Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison of the Doors. I'm going to have to do... I did Kurt Cobain, and I decided that it was a murder by Courtney Love murdered him. Anyway, just an amazing, incredible talent. So, I want to ask some questions. It really feels like... Okay, and the method of suicide. He killed himself with a broken bottle, and he cut his jugular he cut his neck, he cut his jugular with a broken bottle in the hotel room. That's a violent and ugly death. And the closer you get to the face is if there's a murder and somebody shoots someone in the face, that's hate. They hate the person. So he's cutting his neck. He got very close to his face. It's just so many questions, so many disturbing things about this. So did he kill himself because he felt so pressured? Okay, because he's only 28, and he's no good to these other people unless he keeps putting out albums and touring. He's a billion-dollar commodity. And so people are... all the producers and all the people, they're pressuring him to tour, and he's about to put out a new album. Was it just too much for him? Is that why he killed himself? Let's just look at that. Okay, cutting the neck. Okay. Was it because of all the pressure that he killed himself? We got straight razor, hand in hand, Star of Bethlehem, and cross. Cross on the bottom is the burdens. Jesus carried his cross from Golgotha to Golgotha along the Via Dolorosa, and it was very heavy, and they kept beating him. You know, the burdens of life can just be overwhelming, and that's what the cross represents, the burdens of life. It was just too much for him. He's a young man, okay, and he's a superstar. Okay, so cut is he cut his neck. hand in hand, many reasons, and his direction in life. Let's add this up. It's 7, 7. 7 and 7 is 14. 14 is 4 diamonds. Okay, the money, the foundation. 4 diamonds is a great money card. So he killed himself because of many reasons and his direction in life, and cross. Cross can also, these 2 sevens can be very spiritual. Sevens are the most spiritual cards. Let's ask about his relationship with God. How was his relationship with God? I mean, did he just feel hopeless and meaningless? Is that why he did it? Did he feel hopeless and meaningless? Yes. No. Interesting. We got the yes and the no. Okay, so this is about his relationship with God. He got ruler, yes, Mother Earth, and no. No is a full stop. Dead, no, full stop. It just stops everything. So underlying, I asked if he was hopeless and meaningless. So this is kind of very meaningless. What's the point? Okay, 13 and 12, 25, 34. 34. 32 is 8 spades, 9 hearts, 9 diamonds. 9 diamonds is about, is Mercury. 9 diamonds is moving forward very fast. So, ruler and Mother Earth. The key, okay, so did he feel hopeless and meaningless? He's a king of the world. He probably was a billionaire. I don't know what he was worth, but he's worth several $100 million for sure, because he's such a huge superstar. So, doing this work, okay, so he's so on top of things. I just think he felt very meaningless. What's he doing? Okay, so the way that he lived, okay, there's this spate, there's this plague of these very wealthy people who seem to have everything, who kill themselves. And this is what is so strange about our society. He's living the life that everybody wants to live. I want to read for you, The Way of Walking Alone, written by Miyamoto Musashi. Okay, he was, in 1645 he wrote this. He was a great samurai, and he wrote 21 precepts of Dokodo. Number 1, accept everything just the way it is. Do not seek pleasure for its own sake, the opposite of him. Do not under any circumstances depend on a partial feeling. Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. Be detached from desire your whole life long. Do not regret what you have done. Never be jealous. Never let yourself be saddened by separation. Resentment and complaint are appropriate neither for oneself or others. Wow, we need to tell the snowflakes, number 9. Do not let yourself be guided by the feeling of lust or love. In all things, have no preference. Be indifferent to where you live. Do not pursue the taste of good food. Do not hold on to possessions you no longer need. Do not act following customary beliefs. Do not collect weapons or practice with weapons beyond what is useful. He was a samurai. Do not fear death. Do not seek to possess either goods or fiefs for your old age. Respect Buddha and the gods without counting on their help. You may abandon your own body, but you must preserve your honor. Honor above all. 21. Never stray from the way. Overwhelmingly, this great samurai was all about asceticism and not seeking pleasure and being detached and not complaining and being a highly sharpened instrument and all of these celebrities that are killing themselves, they have everything and they find it completely meaningless. And the latest is Anthony Bourdain. So he had everything the world has to offer, but it was just meaningless. That's what this says. And he had it so young. He had everything. Yes, he had everything the world has to offer. He was a king of the world. And yet he found no meaning in it. How interesting. How interesting. You know, people used to have children, and so let's look at, was he high? Was he drunk? Was he high at the time? Because the day before, he was on a yacht with his friends, and they said he was normal, and he was happy, and he seemed healthy. Now, he had these terrible health problems. And what was he on drugs? Because if you don't handle that correctly, if you don't exercise, you can be in a lot of pain, and the drugs are not the solution. So was he high? Because he broke a wine bottle. Okay, where'd that wine bottle come from? Did he drink that wine? Probably. Was he drunk? Was he high at the time? 3 diamonds. Yeah. 10 hearts is a drunkenness card. Can you see that? Yeah. Okay, so 10 hearts is a drunkenness card, and 3 diamonds is several things. He was drunk and high, and all of the above. Cornucopia is everything. 8, everything physical. 8 diamonds is everything physical. Okay, and it was all affecting his, let's add it, 21. Yeah, he just couldn't kick the habit of the drugs and alcohol, and he felt very meaningless. Along this point, I had cancer in 1997, I had cancer. And I had 3 surgeries. I had malignant melanoma, and I had 3 surgeries. And in my right leg. And I ended up in just excruciating pain. Just unbelievable, excruciating pain. And it was constant. It was all the time. And it lasted 4 or 5 years. And finally, you know, and nothing worked. Nothing worked. And this man, he's a young man. He had several surgeries. Finally, I started rollerblading because it was edema. They took out all the lymph nodes in my right leg, so I was having swelling, and it was just really, I just didn't know that pain like that was possible. And then it's all the time, and then there's like a little man stabbing me every 15 minutes with like a sharp knife. It was just crazy. I didn't know I could feel pain like that. So I think he was having similar pain, and these stupid doctors, they'll give you drugs. Anyway, so first I started rollerblading, and that helped. And you get a great looking ass out of rollerblading. Didn't like rollerblading. Then I started riding my bike 3 times a week. That was great. Love riding my bike. Still ride my bike every week. I exercise every day, and I ride my bike 20 miles once a week, maybe twice a week. Then I took up hiking, and so every Saturday I would hike 8 or 10 miles in the woods of Virginia where I was living. Every week, and I did that for like 10 years. And then I took up golf, and all the pain just went away. So I think he might not have known that, and I think he was in a lot of pain, and he was taking a lot of drugs, because that's what these stupid doctors will tell you. You have to find a way. You have to find a way. Very, very sad. Very sad. Okay, so I don't want to go on too long. So let's wrap it up. I think we've got sort of a picture of what's going on. It's so sad, and this is what's going on in our world. The way of the world does not pay, and it's meaningless. Okay, it's meaningless. This way where you have everything and you fill yourself with food and drink and sex, that's not the way. That's not the way, and it leads nowhere. So, was it because of the pressure that he killed himself? Was he just under too much pressure? Because he just couldn't take the pressure. He's still a young man. Okay, he was only 28 years old, and he retired at 26, and he had his appendix out at 21. My goodness, what a lot of pressure for a young man. So he cut his neck. The straight razor, he cut his neck. But it's a lot of things. It's everything. And going forward, and it was just too heavy. The burdens were just too much. He just couldn't go on. Too heavy. The burdens were just too heavy for him. I asked about his relationship with God. He just felt that it was all meaningless. He had everything. He had everything. He was king of the world, and he had everything that you can want in this world, and yet it was meaningless. Was he on drugs and alcohol? Yeah, man. Stay off drugs. Don't take drugs and stay in school. I mean, just listen to Nancy Reagan, for goodness sake. It was everything. He was high. He was really high. And he was on drugs. It was a little bit of everything, and it was affecting all of it, and he never was able to get off of it. That is what's going on. Life, real life, successful life is sacrifice and commitment. That's what leads to happiness. Building things, sacrifice and commitment. That's how I see it. I'm Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination, Fortune Telling, the Magi Method. You can find the book worldwide on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback versions. You can find the full color card deck used here on Etsy /Magi Method. You can join us on Facebook.